Good morning. Welcome to News for Hearing Impaired. I am Anil Thomas. With me, Manisha, this morning. First up, the headlines. President Ram Nath Kovind to address the nation on the eve of her 74th Independence Day today. The address to be broadcast on the entire network of All India Radio and all channels of Doordarshan in the evening. Rajasthan Assembly session scheduled to begin today after a month-long political crisis in the state unit of the ruling Congress party. BSP issues whip to vote against Congress in case of no confidence motion. India touches another peak of highest ever single day recoveries of 56,383 in a single day. With this number, the total recovered COVID-19 patients have touched nearly 17 lakh today. Death rate falls below 2%. US brokers historic peace agreement between Israel and UAE to normalize diplomatic ties in the Middle East region. The agreement is a new era for the country, says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Union Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju to launch Fit India Freedom Run today. The largest countrywide run will encourage fitness and help citizens to get freedom from lifestyle diseases. And now for the stories in detail. President Ram Nath Kovind will address the nation on the eve of the 74th Independence Day today. The address will be broadcast from 7 p.m. on the entire national network of All India Radio and telecast over all channels of Doordarshan in Hindi, followed by the English version. Broadcast of the address in Hindi and English on Doordarshan will be followed by the broadcast in regional languages by regional channels of Doordarshan. All India Radio will broadcast regional language versions at 9:30 p.m. on its respective regional networks. Ahead of 74th Independence Day celebrations tomorrow, the Delhi police have stepped up vigilance and security to ensure the safety of people amid the coronavirus pandemic. Multi-layered arrangements along with necessary coordination with other agencies like NSG, SPG, ITBP have been made. Delhi police have also made strategically stationed SWAT teams and Parakram vans. Facial recognition system have also been set up at vantage points for suspect identification. Moreover, all necessary guidelines of the government on COVID-19 will strictly be imposed. Apart from securing the main venue at Red Fort, adequate security arrangements at Rashtrapati Bhavan have been made and city-wide alert is being exercised by all district DCPs. Well, let's move to Rajasthan. Amid the political crisis going on in the state for the last 1 month, the assembly session will begin today. Before the session, the meeting of BJP and Congress Legislative Party were held on Thursday in Jaipur, where both parties discussed their strategy for the session. The meeting of the BJP Legislative Party was held in Jaipur. The party has decided to bring a no confidence motion against the Ashok Gehlot government. The leader of the opposition in the assembly, Gulab Chand Kataria, claimed that the party is fully prepared to bring a no confidence motion against the government. Former Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje also addressed the meeting. Briefing the reporters after the meeting, Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar said that the Congress party and Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot want to pin the blame on others for their shortcomings.
कांग्रेस के नेताओं को और मुख्यमंत्री जी को यह कहना चाहता हूं कि अपनी असफलताओं को किसी दूसरे के कंधों पर नहीं लादना चाहिए। आपके घर को आप ठीक नहीं रख पा रहे हो और भारतीय जनता पार्टी को दोष देने का काम कर रहे हो। कांग्रेस में जो परिस्थिति है वो उनके अंतरकरण के कारण है और उनके बीच में मतभेदता है, उसके कारण कांग्रेस में टूटन है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी को इससे कोई लेना देना नहीं है और कांग्रेस की सरकार जब भी गिरेगी तो अपने बोझ से ही गिरेगी।
The Congress Legislative Party meeting was also held in Jaipur on Thursday evening. After many days of political maneuvers, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot and his former deputy Sachin Pilot met as the latter arrived at the Chief Minister's residence to make peace. The meeting was also attended by 18 Congress MLAs who had supported Sachin Pilot. Meanwhile, the Bahujan Samaj Party has issued a whip for a second time to 6 of its MLAs in Rajasthan to vote against the Congress in any no-confidence motion or any other proceedings in the state. The party in a statement said if they violate the same, they will face disqualification. In another development, the Rajasthan High Court will today hear the petition filed by BJP MLA Madan Dilawar and the BSP challenging the merger of 6 MLAs with the Congress. The petitioners have challenged the merger of the 6 MLAs with the Congress and demanded a stay on the execution of the order passed by the Speaker in this regard. Earlier, the Supreme Court on Thursday declined to stay a September 2019 decision by the Rajasthan Assembly Speaker allowing the merger of 6 BSP MLAs with the Congress party. The apex court said that the issue regarding the validity of the Speaker's decision is pending before the Rajasthan High Court and declined to grant interim relief to the petitioner BJP MLA Madan Dilawar, who sought disqualification of the 6 BSP MLAs for defection. India has created a new record in terms of COVID-19 recoveries as 56,383 people were cured from COVID-19 in one day. The total recoveries now stand at nearly 17 lakh. The centre said that it has been possible due to the collective efforts of the centre, state and healthcare workers. These efforts have resulted in effective implementation of the testing, connectivity and treatment policy of the country. The recovery rate has improved to 70.77%, while the mortality rate has dipped to 1.96%. And now an update from the flood-affected states, starting first up with Bihar. In Bihar, the flood situation continues to worsen, with floodwater inundating 11 more panchayats in the past 24 hours. Currently, 1,282 panchayats in 16 districts are flood affected. 33 teams of NDRF and SDRF are carrying out relief and rescue works. So far, 25 people have lost their lives in flood-related incidents. 7 relief camps are presently operational, where over 12.5 thousand people are taking shelter. Over 1,000 community kitchens are also being run, providing food to around 77 lakh people. COVID testing facilities are also being provided at all relief camps and community kitchen areas. According to the Bihar disaster response official, the government has disbursed gratitude relief of 6,000 rupees each to over 7 lakh flood affected families till now. Flood situation meanwhile in Assam has improved significantly, with the number of affected districts coming down to just 2. Presently, over 11,000 people across 40 villages under 3 revenue circles remain flood affected. In view of the development, large number of people have started returning to their homes. Only 6 relief and distribution camps remain active across the state, where 62 people are currently taking shelter. Although rivers at 3 places across 3 districts are flowing above the danger mark, water level could be seen maintaining receding trend there. The Met Department has predicted heavy rainfall at isolated places for today and till 17th of August. Hilly state of Uttarakhand is also facing flood fury. Water levels have increased in Mandakini. Administration has cautioned people not to go near the river. Continuous spell of rains in the state has brought life out of gear. In Chamoli, BADRINATH National Highway has been blocked due to falling of boulders after heavy rains. Internal roads of Darchula in Pittoragarh were also blocked due to heavy downpour. Although there is some improvement in the flood situation in Uttar Pradesh, 523 villages of 16 districts are still affected. People are taking shelter at safer places. NDRF teams have been deputed for rescue and relief operations. Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau has set up a 5-member panel to inquire the incident of that Air India Express flight at Kozhikode on August 7th. Captain S.S. Cheher, former designated examiner of Boeing airplane 737NG, will be the investigator in charge of the panel. The panel has been asked to submit its report to AAIB within 5 months. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh launched 4 products each by OFB and BEML, 2 by BEL and 1 each by HAL, BDL, MDL, GRSC and GSL. These products have been developed by respective Defence PSUs and Ordnance Factory Board as part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Week celebrations. Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat, Defence Secretary Dr. Ajay Kumar, Secretary Defence Production Raj Kumar were present on the occasion. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that self-reliance in defence manufacturing is one of the key objectives of the Atmanirbhar Abhiyan. He expressed confidence that the drive for Atmanirbhar Bharat to realize the goal of self-reliance would give the necessary impetus to India's defence production. He added that the efforts being put in by the Department of Defence Production to streamline the procurement procedures, production policies and indigenization initiatives would assuredly lead to the development and manufacturing of indigenous defence products. This will bring down our dependence on imports, thereby restricting outflow of foreign exchange. It will also encourage development of domestic industry, insulate India from external pressure and ensure lifetime spares and service support to the defence equipment. The mob violence that claimed 3 lives in Bengaluru East was an act of violence intended to damage police property and target policemen. Bangalore City Police Commissioner Kamal Pant spoke to DD News and said the initial investigation by police has also established the fact that mob demanded that accused be handed over to them, which the police refused. He also said that the charges of intelligence failure is false and police action was justified, otherwise more damage would have been caused. Over 30 injured policemen are recovering in hospitals. Meanwhile, the disturbed areas remain peaceful and security was increased by deployment of RAF in the areas. Curfew will remain till tomorrow. In Jammu and Kashmir, as the government has decided to open up the religious places from August 16th, Divisional Commissioner of Jammu, Sanjeev Verma, held a meeting with representatives of religious organizations to discuss SOPs. He appreciated the religious heads for their cooperation in the containment of COVID-19 and appraised the religious heads about the instructions, SOPs to be followed at places of worship and urged them to follow the instructions. All places of worship have been asked to maintain a list of persons entering their places which may be required for the purpose of contact tracing. The religious heads assured to extend their full cooperation with the administration to contain the spread of COVID-19. In a major diplomatic breakthrough, the UAE on Thursday became the first Gulf country and the third in the Arab world to establish diplomatic relations with Israel. A joint statement from the United States, Israel and the UAE said that this historic diplomatic breakthrough will advance peace in the Middle East region and is a testament to the bold diplomacy and vision of the 3 leaders and the courage of the United Arab Emirates and Israel to chart a new path that will unlock the great potential in the region. US President Donald Trump called the accord between Israel and the United Arab Emirates historic and a breakthrough towards peace.
After 49 years, Israel and the United Arab Emirates will fully normalize their diplomatic relations They will exchange embassies and ambassadors and begin cooperation across the board and on a broad range of areas, including tourism, education, healthcare, trade, and security. This is a truly historic moment.
Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in a nationally broadcast statement, said that the move ushered in a new era in Israel's relations with the Arab world.
Today we usher in a new era of peace between Israel and the Arab world. I just came from an historic virtual conference between myself, President Donald Trump, and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed of the United Arab Emirates. We announced the establishment of a full and formal peace between Israel and the UAE. It includes the mutual opening of embassies, direct flights, and many, many other bilateral agreements. This is the greatest advancements toward peace between Israel and the Arab world in the last 26 years, and it marks the third formal peace between Israel and an Arab nation.
The United Arab Emirates has said an agreement with Israel to normalize relations was done to deal with the threat that further annexation of Palestinian territories posed to the two-state solution. The UAE Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Anwar Gargash, urged the Palestinians and Israelis to return to the negotiating table.
And get something tangible. Let us try and basically deal with the current threat towards a two-state solution, negotiations for a two-state solution. And the current threat is really this annexation of Palestinian territories. And the idea was very clear that Israel will commit in a three-way phone call with the United States to stopping annexation, suspending it, and at the same time, we will be able to also announce that we will begin what I would call a normal relationship with Israel.
Meanwhile, Tel Aviv City Hall lit up in the United Arab Emirates colors on Thursday night after a US brokered deal between Israel and the Gulf Arab country was announced. The agreement announced by the US President Donald Trump broke new ground in Israel's outreach to Gulf Arab countries with the common fear of Iran's regional influence. The agreement, to be known as the Abraham Accord, also gives Trump a foreign policy accomplishment as he seeks re-election on November 3rd. Well, time now to take a look at the COVID-19 updates from across the world. Over 2 crore 10 lakh coronavirus cases have been registered globally, with over 7,52,000 deaths related to COVID-19. As many as 1 crore 39 lakh people have been cured or discharged from hospitals from the virus so far. COVID-19 cases have been shooting up in the United States, making it the worst hit by the pandemic for several weeks now. The US has over 54,14,000 cases of the virus, with the death toll now crossing 1,70,000. US is followed by Brazil, which has recorded over 1,05,000 deaths and over 32,29,000 cases. Talking in terms of the COVID-19 death toll worldwide, US and Brazil are followed by Mexico with a death toll crossing 54,000. The World Health Organization on Thursday downplayed the danger of the coronavirus latching on to food packaging and urged people not to be afraid of the virus entering the food chain. The announcement comes after 2 cities in China said that they had found traces of the coronavirus in imported frozen food and on food packaging, raising fears that the contaminated food shipments might cause new outbreaks. WHO head of emergencies program Mike Ryan told a briefing in Geneva that there is no evidence that food or the food chain is participating in transmission of this virus, and people should feel comfortable and safe. Ryan also said that the key to fighting the coronavirus is stopping cluster spreading into community transmission. United Kingdom will impose a 14-day quarantine on all arrivals from France on Saturday. The UK government, wary of a second wave of the novel coronavirus, also added the Netherlands, Malta and 3 other countries to its quarantine list. Spain and Belgium have already been added in recent weeks. Quarantines will be imposed after Saturday. Reacting sharply, France said it would also reciprocate Britain's quarantine measures. Earlier, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said his government would be ruthless when it came to imposing fresh restrictions on arrivals because of the dangers of importing fresh cases of the virus. Back home, Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Kiren Rijiju will launch the largest countrywide run, the Fit India Freedom Run, today. The run will begin from tomorrow and continue till October 2nd. In view to encourage fitness among the masses while following COVID-19 protocols, the government has decided to encourage participants of the event to run at their own pace anywhere and at any time of their convenience. Additionally, they can break up their runs over several days in this period. The total kilometers clock can be tracked using a global positioning system watch or manually. Individuals and organizations can register for the event on the Fit India website. The event has been organized to mark the 74th Independence Day of India tomorrow to the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi on October 2nd. The motto of the Freedom Run is to encourage fitness and to help citizens to get freedom from obesity, laziness, stress, anxiety and other lifestyle diseases. In the recent past as well, Fit India has organized numerous big-scale events such as Fit India Plog Run and Fit India Cyclothon to take the message of fitness to the masses. Sports Authority of India has said that the National Archery Camp for Olympic hopefuls will resume at the Army Sports Institute in Pune from August 25th. The camp was called off midway in March due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A total of 16 recurve archers, 8 men and as many women along with 4 coaches and 2 support staff will report to the camp on August 25th and undergo the mandatory 14-day period inside the ASI campus before starting their training sessions. German club RB Leipzig stunned Atletico Madrid with a 2-1 victory in the UEFA Champions League quarter-final match on Thursday night to reach the competition's last 4 for the first time in the club's 11-year-long history. The win helps the German club book their place in the quarter-finals for the first time, and Spanish club Atletico Madrid are knocked out from the tournament. RB Leipzig will clash with PSG, that's Paris Saint-Germain, in the semi-finals. English bowlers grabbed the upper hand in the second test against Pakistan on a rain-affected first day at the Aggies Bowl. James Anderson claimed 2 wickets and Stuart Broad, Chris Wokes and Sam Curran won each as Pakistan closed the day at 126 for 5 with only 45.4 overs of action possible thanks to rain. More stormy weather is forecast for the remainder of the match, but if conditions stay the same, both sides will be confident of winning the test match. Pakistan have a bowling attack that could easily utilize conditions as England have done, while they will look to their star batsman Babar Azam to extend their score on day 2. He remained unbeaten on 25. After last week's super victory at Old Trafford, victory in Southampton would give England a first series win over Pakistan in 10 years. That's all we have time for, but remember to maintain physical distancing. Also wash your hands every 20 minutes. If not possible, use a hand sanitizer to keep your hands clean and wear your face mask at all times as you step out of your homes. Thanks for watching.